Hello and welcome to our Matchday Live preview show in association with our friends at Standard Chartered. We are live across Liverpool's various social media platforms, building up to today's big Premier League clash. It is Spurs against Liverpool here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And what a place this is in which to play football. Ray Houghton is down pitch side with me today. There's plenty for Ray to get his teeth stuck into over the course of the next 50 minutes or so. We'll reflect on Liverpool's Champions League progress in midweek. We'll discuss the threat that Spurs will pose today. We'll chat about Jurgen Klopp reaching 400 games in charge of the Reds. And we'll look at who Ray thinks that the manager should maybe go with today. It's always the bit that Ray enjoys most. Ray, good to have you with us. Well, first of all, let's start with Champions League progress. You know, a bit doom and gloom at times this season, but on reflection, 5 wins out of 6 in the group, comfortably through. Job done. Yeah, absolutely, job done. I think the only doom and gloom was after the Napoli first match. You know, because the result and the performance, I think that worried a lot of people. And then obviously with Ajax beating Rangers and the way that they done that, they were very impressive. So then you start thinking maybe it's not going to be Liverpool's year. But they turned it around very, very well indeed. You know, the victory over Ajax, back-to-back wins against Rangers, and then Ajax again, and then Napoli last game. It was thoroughly professional, I thought. You know, they got the job done, they got themselves into a strong position, they've got themselves qualified, and now they can relax from that point of view and start worrying about that next season. You know, when next year, should I say, when you've got the matches coming up for the round of 16. The draw, of course, takes place on Monday, tomorrow. What do you make of the 4 potential opponents? There's kind of an obvious split in quality, perhaps, not to be too disrespectful to the 2 Portuguese sides, but what do you make of the potential opponents?
Well, I think the opponents that are available to Liverpool at the moment are very tough. And it doesn't matter where you are and who you're going to be playing against. You know, these teams that have made it through the last 16 have done it through hard work and determination in the group stages. So whoever Liverpool gets is going to be a tough match. But in saying that, you have to look at Liverpool's record in the last few years. It's been absolutely phenomenal in the Champions League. And when it comes down to the 2 matches, home and away, they're a formidable side. You know, there's a consistency about them, there's a belief about them, there's a confidence about them, and that's been proven with the finals that they've got to, and obviously winning it a few seasons ago. So I would say the worry would be for the teams that could get Liverpool and not the other way around. I think Liverpool know how good they are. They're getting better. There's been a lot of talk about performances this season and the inconsistencies as such. I'm not as downbeat as most about it. I think once the injured players come back, Liverpool will be fine.
Of course, who knows what shape any of the teams will be in when these games take place next year. A lot of things can change in that intervening period. To the challenge today then, what do you make of Tottenham? Some Spurs fans mump and moan a little bit about the style of football, but ultimately it's been pretty successful football in the year that Antonio Conte's been here.
I've got to be honest with you, fans are very fickle, aren't they? You know, you're sitting in the top 4 of the Premier League at the moment. You're averaging 2 points per game. If you see that through to the end of the season, you'll end up with 76 points and you'll be in the top 4 comfortably. And they're worried about the style of football. You've got to be realistic about it. You know, Antonio Conte's come in. He's a manager who's very pragmatic. He likes to build from the back. And they've done that. You know, there's been improvement in certain aspects of the way that Tottenham play. They are difficult to play against. They've won 8 of the 13 games that they've played in the Premier League this season. They have got some injury problems today. There's a few players out and a few top players that could be a problem for them. I think the depth of the squad's got better. I think he's added well with the players that he's brought in. And this will be a tough game for Liverpool today. You know, I was here last year when they played in December and ended up 2-2, and I've got to say it was a really, really fantastic game of football. End-to-end stuff. I didn't hear any of the Tottenham fans complaining about the style of football that day. I thought they absolutely loved it because it was one of them matches that lives long in the memory. It had everything you want, 2 committed sides, plenty of chances in the game, tremendous football and good defending in there as well. And you know, it was a great game to be here to watch in this great stadium, and Tottenham played well that day, but so did Liverpool.
A lot of the time they set up to sort of sit back, soak a bit of pressure, hit on the break, they counter really well, but with no Son today, with Kulusevski maybe still out, can they still play like that? They've got the options to play on the break quite as well.
I'm not sure they have, but what they have got is one of the hottest strikers around, Harry Kane. you know, think what you want about Harry, but he's been a sensational striker for a number of years at Tottenham Hotspur. The goals that he scored, and he's not just a goal taker, he's a goal assister as well. He's got phenomenal vision and awareness. He's someone you're constantly aware of on the pitch, you know, the positions that he takes up. You must make sure that you keep nice and tight. Don't let him get turned on it, because he's still got that vision and awareness to pick out passes. Now, Kulusevski, as you said, could be out. Likewise, Richarlison, there's another player out. Son, definitely out. So their attacking options are more limited than they have been recently. Lucas Moura was a certainty to play. If he's fitting well, he should be in the starting line. He's got a little bit of zip about him. He can get at players. You know, Kane and him can work in tandem together. Who the third member is, you'll have to wait and see. But I just think Højbjerg and Bentancur in the middle of the park, they've got this solidity about them in there, which they didn't have for a few years. And I think that's where part of the strength of the team is, the way that they help defensively, but at the same time supplement the attackers. And also they're starting to get a couple of goals themselves this season, which is unusual.
You mentioned Rodrigo Bentancur.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's sometimes overlooked. He seems to have been a really shrewd acquisition, a player with a proven track record of winning trophies. He's coming at it, real quality in the centre of the park.
I think he's our Thiago for Spurs. That's how I look at him. Continuity player, always wants it, always available, never shirks his responsibility to get in possession of the ball, always looking to play the right pass. And he's actually breaking forward now, which he wasn't doing when he first came into the Spurs side. Maybe he was just learning, you know, what was required from the manager. But now he is certainly getting in more advanced positions. He looks more threatening. He's got an eye for a pass. You've got to be careful. You know, you've got to close him down. Don't give him time and space, because he'll sort out that ball through to Harry Kane if he runs in behind the back line of Liverpool today. So, yeah, I'm extremely impressed by him. I think he's been a very good signing, shrewd signing for Tottenham.
Also, something Liverpool have to be mindful of is that Spurs will go late in games. You saw late goals against Bournemouth, late goals against Marseille in midweek. The game's not over till it's over against an Antonio Conte side. And
I think something you said earlier, Mark, was very relevant, and that is, you know, although they might not start games well, they finish them well. You know, they're getting stronger as the game on, which is a good trait to have. You know, and it shows you that they've got this confidence, this belief that they want to keep going at the opposition, because in the back of their mind, they still believe they're going to win the game. Even when against Bournemouth, when the late on goal that they got to win that, and likewise, you know, they went to Marseille and they got an injury time goal there as well to get them the 3 points. So it shows you there's an inner belief within them that going into late parts of games that they're fit enough to keep going, and also they're going to create chances as well.
OK, well, yeah, it was Spurs away today for Liverpool. It was Spurs away for Jurgen Klopp's first game in charge. Since then, he's had 399 more. He hit the 400 mark against Napoli in midweek, and the very next day, he was given the freedom of the city of Liverpool. He was then asked what the 2015 Jurgen Klopp would have made of his achievements at his time at the club.
Oh, when you would see me, you would say, oh man, you got old. The difference is massive, but look at the picture. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The last 7 years did to me, but it's crazy. But that's fine. The younger version wouldn't believe it, because I don't think it was in that moment that anybody thought it would be possible. But with some good decisions, hard work, fantastic players, incredible coaches, great support from owners and especially supporters, things can happen, and that's what happened. But yeah, we have still a lot to do, and that's what we will do, and I can't wait to keep going.
Yeah, 400 games at the helm, 249 wins along the way. How would you sum up his impact at the club, Ray?
Average. It's been phenomenal, isn't it? I mean, from day one, you know, just had to listen to what he had to say when he came to Liverpool Football Club. He bought into what the fans wanted, what the expectation was, and he's delivered. And he's delivered unbelievably well. The standard of football that he's brought, the players that he's brought in, you know, the great nights we've all had at Anfield and wherever Liverpool have played, and excited the supporters. He's been absolutely incredible, and long may it continue. He knows what he wants. He knows where he wants to go, and the players know that, and the players believe in him, the players trust in him, and the fans do as well. And when you've got that link between fans, players, as a manager, it's a formidable place to be. And there's not many that get there, and he's certainly one of them.
What do you make of the way in which he's evolved the squad as well? Because initially, you know, he worked with a lot of the players he inherited. He didn't just chip everyone out. It's been a gradual evolution of the side. A lot of those players played a big part until recently. You know, James Milner was involved that first game. Divock Origi was involved that first game, I think. Both of them have played a part up until, well, last season and this season.
Well, you know what? When I used to go to some of the pre-season friendlies, and that's where you see managers at work, you know, because they're playing against maybe weaker opposition, and you know, maybe the crowd's not as big as it would be for a normal game, but then you see them working on the sidelines, and the amount of times he had Mo Salah screaming at him, get back into position. Same with Sadio Mane. This is where I want you, this is where I want you. And it just, for them, it reinforced what the manager wanted in training, what he was doing in training for games. And that's the art of a great manager, working with top players, but saying to them, when you lose the ball, this is the position I expect you to get in to help the team out. And that's exactly what them players were willing to do. That's why Liverpool was so successful, because it wasn't about an individual, it was about the team. It was a team ethic, and he brought that. He was very loyal to his players. He'll give everyone opportunities, but he's a winner. And he demands the same from his players, a winning mentality. And for a number of years under Jurgen, they've had that.
We have probably felt that he's exceeded our expectations in terms of the success he's brought, the progress he's brought. Where do you think we are in terms of where he saw things? Do you think he will look back and think we're on path where he believes we should have been, or do you think he will have thought maybe we could have won more because we've been in other finals and not quite got over the line?
Yeah, you always feel that you could have won more than you actually did. You know, if you've been in as many competitions and finals as they have been, I mean, he nearly had a historical season last season to do the quadruple. I mean, 2 games away from doing it. No one in the English game has been as close as that before. And that in itself shows you how good a manager he is. But what the great managers, and certainly at Liverpool, have done year after year after year, is when you've won something, to go again. You don't rest on what you've done the previous season. It's forget about that. We're on to the next season. What can we do this season? And I know that the start of the season isn't what everyone would have wanted. None of the players would want it. The fans wouldn't want it. The manager certainly doesn't want to be in the position that he's in. But he'll be honest enough to say, do you know what? I've got the quality here. I believe in this group of players, and we are going to start progressing. And I think you'll see that not only today, midweek in the League Cup, and then the last match in the league next weekend before the players go off to the World Cup. And you watch, in my opinion, the second half of the season, you'll see a much improved Liverpool team.
What's your favourite Jurgen Klopp moment so far? A game, a result?
I think the day he walked into the club and said, I'll win the league in 4 years, when you hadn't won it for as long as Liverpool had, I think a lot of people thought, that's a big comment to make, but you know what? He was true to his word, and he's got this team and this club where they should be, competing for the top trophies year in, year out.
OK, I'll take a moment to signpost what else you can see on LFC TV and LFC TV Go over the course of the next day or so. At 8:30 tonight on LFC TV Go, you can get free highlights of the best moments of the game here today. Then at midnight tonight, you can relive the full match over on LFC TV and LFC TV Go. Then tomorrow, you can get the best view from behind the scenes here with Inside Spurs at midnight on our Facebook and YouTube channels. OK, Ray, your favourite part of the show? Pick your team for today's game. What are the decisions that the manager has to make for this match with Spurs?
I think I'm up to 9 or 10's my best that I've got since...
Today could be the 11.
Well, I'm hoping so. So I've gone for, obviously, Alisson in goal. The back four, I'll go for the real experienced players with Trent, Konate. I think he's done well when he came in, alongside Virgil. Nothing against Joe Gomez. And at left back, I'd bring in Andrew Robertson. Midfield, I'd go for real experience with Fabinho, Thiago and Jordan Henderson. And the front three, I think at the moment, just on form, really speaks for itself. There's a lot of good youngsters around and they've done well when they've had their opportunity. But I would go with Nunez at the moment because he's scoring, he's confident. Salah, he can't leave out. He's the top player as far as goals are concerned. And Roberto Firmino. So that's the team I'd be looking at. And I think that side today, we are Tottenham side that might have the injury problems that they've got. I can see that going forward as a team that could take the game to Tottenham and get the 3 points.
Okay, let's signpost then what is coming up for you over the course of the next few hours on LFC TV and LFC TV Go. Matchday Live kicks off at 3:30. Rob Jones will have Gary Gillespie and Stephen Warnock in the studio, and of course I'll be alongside Ray here pitchside with all the team news from the Liverpool and Spurs camps. From 4:30 it's live audio commentary in the capable hands of Steve Hunter and Neil Mellor for this one. Then from 6:30 it's the Matchday reaction show, looking back at the key moments from today's game. And that's it from myself and Ray for now. We'll leave you with the thoughts of the Standard Chartered Player of the Month. It is Alison Becker.
Well, Alison, congratulations. You're the Standard Chartered Men's Player of the Month for October. How do you feel to have won this award?
Thank you. It's really good. Something nice. When people see how good you are doing on the pitch, and to feel as well that I'm doing something good to help the team to try to achieve the targets.